The Victorian WorkSafe Authority like investigators to keep a record of their investigations in a handwritten book. They don't specify what kind of book, but what's really important about the book where you keep your record of your investigations is that the pages within that book are numbered by a machine. So they must have numbers at the bottom of the page, or the top of the page, as in this case. The reason for that is you write it in ink, not pencil. You're an investigator. Same with police, they don't use pencils, they use ink. You write it in ink in the book, and it's a record of your instructions, who instructed you, the time you started and the time you finished that investigation. And it's a really good habit to get into, because if ever you end up in court and you're challenged about how you keep records of your investigations, you'll be able to pull up 5 or 6 copies of the books that you've been keeping over the years and say, I record all of those, and no, I did not make that up last night in my home office and write it in there in a blank space, because all your investigations over the last 5 years or 2 years or 20 years are all listed in books like this. Now, I have several of these books. In fact, here's the first one I ever had. It's a little bit ratty, it's a little bit old. It's full of old licences that I've had over the years. And up in the corner, I've actually got the first cheque butt I was ever paid as a licensed private investigator to do a job by myself. And I was really proud of that, because it's the first time I did it without working for anyone else. So, I can go back to that book and I can, look at historical investigations I've done. Look, here's one that's really interesting. No, there's a warning there. One thing investigators that you work for as a subcontractor hate is people talking about the investigations that they're doing or that they've done. What's fabulously interesting to you as a beginner is really boring to the people that have been doing it for 15 years. So my advice is, yes, get the book. Do what they ask you to do. Even if you don't work for WorkSafe Victoria, it's a great habit to get into, and it will protect your backside if ever you're accused of not keeping appropriate records, if ever you're accused of making up something last night before you went to court and you were going to be cross-examined. This protects you in those cases. Yes, you'll have diaries as well, but this one covers the things, the time it took, who instructed you, who you were working for, and when you started and when you finished that actual case. Your running sheets will have all the daily parts of that. That's important, but this one is a confirmation that you're a good record keeper and the pages are numbered by machine. I'm Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy.